Hello Aries, I am Ulrich, I'm a Lenormand card reader, but today we will do your spiritual philosophical card reading for the month of April. These cards are more a kind of advisors. If you have an issue in your life, or if you have some kind of problem in your life, these cards give advice, maybe how to get out of the situation, what is best, maybe how to act, how to react. Anyway, Aries, here we go for your spiritual philosophical card reading for the month of April. Hello Aries, and welcome to your spiritual philosophical card reading for the month of April. As your first card here that we see here, it tells us we should turn to others. What does this card exactly mean? Well, sometimes it means that maybe for a certain reason in the past we locked off our heart, we were out of touch with others, or maybe we still are. Maybe our mind was not connected to other people, or we didn't feel up to it. Mostly, we all have an ego or personality. This develops since we are a child, like you see here in the picture. And then there are all kinds of circumstances, our parents, our education, factors that surrounding us, people that are surrounding us, things that are happening to us, and it all shapes us or creates us into what we are. And here, sometimes here, it means that our ego or our personality, it holds a kind of a shield of defense here. You could believe here that the enemy is everywhere, and the only way you might perceive this, or the only way you might act or react on this, is by that you withdraw yourself. However, here our higher mind, our higher, there's always a higher spirit above us here. It tells us here that there might be no enemies at all for defending it. Maybe these are imaginary enemies here, but maybe if you look around you, there are like-minded people, like-minded souls who have the same ideas as you, and maybe you can reconnect with groups of people who have the same ideas. A lot of us now, we fall into certain groups, certain ideas that we have, and in these other groups that are existing, sometimes they don't fit certain thinking patterns that we are having, and it could be part of the problem that you are experiencing, is because this is becoming a collective problem for all people, for finding a certain group that is like-minded. Very important in this day and age is that we find like-minded people. This doesn't not necessarily mean family members, but it is people like who have the same ideas as you have, no matter what area of life this is. This could be about certain medications that you are forced to take, certain governments that put certain rules on it, certain authorities who pressure you in certain groups you totally agree or you totally disagree of, or maybe you're in the middle. Anyway, you need to find a solution here for yourself. Anyway, you should also, the way to find this out, exactly how you are, you could examine your body posture when you pass yourself and you look in the mirror. How are you holding your arms? Are you closing off yourself close to your chest here? Do you look away from others? Do you look away from other people here? This is a way here that for seeing in what kind of state we are. Sometimes also you maybe find yourself that you withdraw yourself from other people. There's a certain fear here. Maybe there's a pressure upon fear. Maybe it's a fear that you put up there yourself, and you no longer want to be part of certain people's life. And it's possible also that you actually prevent other people for becoming a part of your life. But this card tells us, no matter what your opinion is, you should reconnect and connect with others, because in groups, sometimes we can make ourselves stronger. These people can help you and you can help, and as a collective, you can become strong here. There are some people, they might need your love. Maybe you have some healing powers that are not connected. But sometimes some people have healing powers. Sometimes by speaking, by interacting with people, it can have a positive effect on them, and of course also on ourselves. So here we need to see or we need to acknowledge that we need to be convinced that we can make a personal difference, and you should connect with people around you. You should reach out here like the baby. The next card that we are seeing here, it's time maybe that we catch our breath back. What does this mean? Well, probably your ego, it makes you work very hard. Remember that the ego, the personality that you are developed, it might never be satisfied, and it might always create a feeling, even that you do a lot, you already have a lot of stress, and maybe it's still not enough. It's like a little ego voice is speaking inside of you, and it tells you, work harder, and sometimes you don't know anymore why you exactly do it. And this card tells us maybe it's time to catch your breath, take a break. So for some people also this means about meditation, praying, if you're in that kind of, if you are in these things, or reconnect with nature. Whatever it is, these three solutions that I just offered, is one of the three will fit you. It's time here to take some time out, to meditate, to relax, to take a walk. This card tells you that your life, if you take a few days off or you take a break, your life isn't not gonna fall apart. You just need to break away from false urges. Sometimes we created false urges, emergencies, and it's created by our ego, but actually we need to realign with our higher selves. I'm aware that we all need money, but there are limitations that you can put up from yourself. We sometimes can implement a different lifestyle also if we have certain choices. Of course, if we make certain choices, we are responsible for those choices also. But once you will reconnect with this higher mind, you will realize that you have always time for what is personally important for you. And as I said, you could also find groups that have the same connection. So it's time here to relax. And this will allow you to clear your mind and to be intuitive. It's very important in this period that Aries is the sign of intuition. It's the sign it's the child of the belt. So they are mostly very intuitive people. And here it's very important, if you have an inner voice, an inner guide that speaks to you, that you follow this inner guidance. So detach yourself from the intensity of daily life, of your ego, the requirements that your ego tells you to take, and have faith that everything will work out in a divine order. Here we see that it's time for us to rest. We need to catch our breath here. And this catching breath, this meditation, this way of breathing, maybe you also need to observe the way you breathe. Maybe you don't breathe enough. And sometimes by certain techniques, we can learn to breathe. Anyway, here we see that something above us, you can call it your God, you can call it your spirituality, you can call it your higher mind. There is something above you here that tells you that it's not the right time now to do overtime. Do what you need to do to survive and connect with your higher mind. The next card that we are seeing here is the card that tells us that we should take a small steps or baby step. You see here that the penguin, it distinguishes itself here, maybe because it's about to take another path away from a certain group. As I said earlier here, this card reading is very compact. The three cards belong together here. And here we see that we are about to make important changes in our life. Maybe you are on the verge, maybe you feel it, maybe in your head you already made some decisions. But it's possible that these decisions that you are about to make seem very intimidating to you. It's like you're intimidated maybe by the worldly situation, the global situation, and maybe also your personal situation is it's sometimes intertwined with us. And here sometimes it's like we might feel discouraged, and it's like our ego, it's discouraged us to make a restart, and we have a kind of fear again here, a fear of life. But here we should take the challenge up. This card tells you there is nothing to be feared of. We should live entirely according to our higher mind and approach this challenge that you have in mind. You can take up this challenge and your path will change in life. So sometimes also, if our ego can, if we have a big personality, a strong personality, it could be that we are not up to this task all at once, and we cannot do this all at once. And we need to divide these changes into small, realistic, small steps, like the penguin here. Also, certain tasks that put up on us, maybe we need to divide them. And what can also be a good way to get where you want to get, what is already in your head, what you already feel, is write these goals, these realistic goals down. And then step by step, you go where you personally want to go. This is also a time that will be very important for your person. You will probably go in another direction that you have gone before. It's more like a personal choices here that we will make. But here we are urged to make our dream come true. If you want to achieve this goal that is already in your head, maybe you need to become physically more active. It's possible. Or you need to see things in a different way. You need to think here, and you can take a walk for doing here. It's possible also that you are on the verge of changing jobs. Maybe your job, it don't satisfy anymore. Maybe it's a boring routine. Maybe there are no challenges anymore. It's possible also that you don't feel very good there in that job. Maybe you don't feel satisfied. This is also possible with this card. So here, if you are making a plan for changing jobs, you should write down what you really want. But it's also important that you write down what you don't want. So you need to make categories. And most people don't know what they don't want, but it's also important that you write down what you don't want. If you have difficulties about that, maybe you have a close friend, a spiritual friend, somebody close in your close area, and this person might be able to set up these new goals. And you yourself, you can update your resume in what you are. You can give it a kind of swing here. This is what we are seeing here for going in another direction in your life. I'm sure you have certain experiences, and maybe you should write these experiences in your resume. It doesn't necessarily need to be connected to your job, but there could be for the things that you want to do. Or maybe you want to do something independent. This is possible also. And as you write things down, you come to the conclusion it's best for yourself that you do something yourself. So here, these changes that we are talked about here, if you are not the type that can decide, or you think it's not good for you, it's best that we do this slowly, modestly, gradually here, and we do these transformations, these big transformations, because there are big transformations coming, and we do this in small steps. But because you could feel, if you need to change that all at once, you could feel threatened. It's like your ego is threatened, and you cannot take these steps, and you cannot focus on it. So it's best here, like the penguin, that you do it step by step. So introduce these small subtle changes every day, and if you do this in small steps, you will see that you reach your personal goal in less time that you have foreseen. So Aries, this is all for this month. I hope you get a little bit wiser out of this spiritual philosophical card reading. If you have interest in financial card readings, I do also psychological, spiritual, philosophical card readings. They give you also an idea how it can work out in that way. And of course, we have the classic Lenormand card readings that I do each month for your sign. And there I just follow the cards. We have no specific topic, but mostly the three together. You can put it together as a whole, and the puzzle is complete, and it can give you a clear view in these confusing times that we are having. So Aries, this is all. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing, and we see each other next time. Bye-bye for now.